Hey everyone, and welcome back to Transport Fever. This is the Great Western Railway. Today we're going to be doing a huge amount of detailing at our new oil crude platform. As you can see, this train just pulled in and is about to send it off to our new line. What we're going to do today is everything you can see in front of us. We are going to do the rock walls. We're going to put in this entire orchard. We're going to put in a new loop so this guy can do a U-turn without having to just double back on itself. And we're going to do a whole lot of prettifying of the land and, as I said, the fences and everything else, and even some dioramas like a castle over there. So let's jump into it. And this is the semi-empty plate we have to begin with. Lots of grasslands and just open plains. Lots of opportunity to do. The grass just screams at me that we should make an orchard all around here, all the way over here. Very reminiscent of what we did over here, just to fill this big void in. Yeah, I like the idea of that, and it's really easy to get started and to get that done. So let's do that first. So under painting tools, we're going to choose, so under assets, we're going to choose the brush, and I'm going to choose the delete brush, go up to 100%, and then we actually can use this to delete stuff. So I'm using this because it's the same size of what we're about to paint, and I'm not overly worried about doing too much here because I can definitely get, put it back again. Okay, so let's smooth out that. I'm willing to have these like small rises. You can see there's a little bit of undulation there. And over here, I think we're going to do this side as well. Yeah, let's do this side as well. We can always put the trees back. And I think, let's really go full hog and kind of do it all the way up to kind of like that. And just for simplification, I'm going to line up with the map. Actually, it's 270 is obvious, so we can just go 90 is the other obvious one. Use the number here. And then we want to do it about 0.8. If you do at 100, I'll show you how it just comes out a little bit too fast. It's a little bit too easy to put slightly too many down. So you want about a 0.8 orchard tree, and we'll start. Probably this is an asset, so it won't affect painting. So if I put it in the river, it won't matter. And so I don't want it to be perfect. Like you can see that gap right there. That's what I want as an effect. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to toggle to the delete mode and then just keep on toggling and build it up as we go along. And if it's in the trees like this, we just have to delete it. And you're just kind of painting in a grid here. And so we can go like that, and then I think it'll come across. Now I haven't got roads and stuff yet. We can put them in later. We'll just delete the trees. And I'm kind of okay with how that's going. So I think I might come back at about this level. So delete. Yeah, it's one of those things that takes a little bit of practice, but once you've done it for a couple of minutes, it's not too hard to just get it looking correct. And before we know it, that was not great. So just wipe it out and try again. Yeah, weirdly, this brush has it's pretty easy to use from a delete point of view. And okay, let's keep on going. We'll go either side of this road. I'm going to rotate now though, and so I think what I'll do is I'll get this side finished. Yeah, we'll get this side finished, and we'll do a bit of delete, and I'm okay with that. There's a bit of a empty bit there, but that's okay. Rotate, delete, pull it back from the road a little bit, and then off we go again. I think I might try to line it up with this area. So I think, do we want it this way? Yeah, I'll probably line it up like that. And so it will be over here. Actually, probably on the other side of the road, we actually, on this side, we can do different than over here. We'll have three different 3 different angles. Let's go with this one. The fidelity of the angles isn't great. And I think that would do. And then we'll do a whole delete over here. And voila. And then lucky last area. We'll rotate it probably about that angle. We'll start over here. That was probably a little bit too much, but that's all right. And then we're going to have to do a delete, probably about that much. And actually, we'll have to do a little bit more than that. Oh, we've got a new recycling plant. We don't need it. We've got plenty of bricks in the land. And I'm going to come over here. And we'll have to delete. Yeah, you just have to kind of play with it, because the problem is you can't really do a partial one, because if you change the scaling, it changes the width, and that doesn't actually really achieve what you want. That's a bit wonky over there, but I think that's okay. And I think I don't think I'm going to go any closer to the road. I think that's fine. And in a couple of minutes, we've gained an orchard. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's get a road in. Let's say this guy is partially responsible for it. Maybe it owns some of it. So let's use its road. I think there's a natural damage road through here. So I think I might come through here, and we'll definitely do small segments, so that way it follows the land up and down. Yeah, and then I think like that, around the corner, if I can get it to curve nicely, up and around. And there we have it. And that might be a little bit long on this end. And yeah, I'm happy with that. And then we'll do some detailing over there. But yeah, that's not too bad. And I think it probably, because there's a bit of a wonk through here, I think there is a justification to put a road through here. Now we could have done like a path road rather than a road, but I'm okay with this. I tend to use the path ones when it's a little bit smaller and it's a bit more plausible that it was pedestrian based. That's a bit wonky. And before you know it, done. All right, so these train tracks, so now we have that done. Actually, we need to do over here as well. Let's very, very quickly do that, because I think that's going to be pretty easy. And we'll just, let's go maybe this way. Diagonally? No, let's go this way. And then delete. Actually, this way I might actually do this way. We'll do a delete using the brush. Yeah, I don't know if that was the best idea to put that there. Yeah, that may not last, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's fine now. All right, so in the real world, a train would come in, and one of two things would happen. It would detach to the loco, and then they would come up to a round table, do a U-turn, come out a spur line, and then reattach on the front. Or the line itself would go around a circle. I'm tempted to see if we can do that, especially since that seems to be working. So what happens if that's horizontal? Let's go like that. That was downhill. No, we definitely want to stay level, because all this whole area, this end and that end, are going to be the same height. Let's do that again. So keep away from the road, I think. And the speed's not important, so let's do something like that. And then let's go forward a bit. Looks like we've gone down a hill to go up a hill again, so that's kind of cool. And then around here, we'll go around, I think it was 55 I saw, or 51 or something over there, something like that. And then we'll go across here. And I think, like we did in the asphalt plant, we need to kind of go around square as we do this. And we'll go a little bit more forward, and then let's see if we can squeeze along our property line. Something like that. It's still 50, that's okay. And can we shove a triple point in? So there is a point there. There we go. And that's okay. All right, so I don't like all these crossings, so let's get rid of this road. That was a bit of a waste of time. That one's okay, and yeah, I'm okay with that. So now, if we look at the lines, yeah, they want to come in and out. So what we need to do is put in probably a signal saying, hey, you should come to here on the way out. It's a one-way, just for the sake of it. We'll go over here, and then we'll modify those lines. So when we look at the train lines, after the crude, please go to here, and we'll call this Rockstone Crude Loop Exit. And yeah, that works. And then the same thing goes with this one. When you leave, please go over here. And voila. So now we just need to join these together, which shouldn't be too hard. It's always easy to start from this end. And those lines, yep, they go in. And you can see that the arrows are only going forward, so we're definitely going around the loop. Cool. I like that. Let's kind of repeat this edge over here on the right hand side to give it some constant uniformity, like the idea of it's the same type of environment. And we'll pull this out, and that way we can then push this in. Hopefully we can make this might have to be a little bit lower. There it goes. Doesn't really want to do it. Yeah, doesn't really want to do it. That's fine. And then voila. So yeah, that's okay. Yeah, cool. So let's put some trees in. I might actually try this random thing. I don't use it too much, but let's put some random trees in. And we'll build this up a little bit, especially over here. We'll make it a bit bigger, a bit bigger. You know what? We'll fill in this whole area. And I think it will look better if we just flatten this out. So let's bring this up to the same level. And you know, if we get rid of that road and tell it to flatten, what will happen is all this stuff will come up. It will raise up. Yeah. And then road, and go past the point where we want. Go past the point where we want. And that should be it. And then there'll be a smooth gun, and voila. A couple more trees. And we'll get rid of those ones that are super close to the railway line, which is those. And cool. And then for the fun of it, we might as well put down some waypoints and say, hey, you can go forward. These don't actually control traffic, but they look cool. So when they start rolling, those will dip down. Cool. Hidden in the trees pretty well. Let's go a bit more over here. Kind of really fill this in. It'll be kind of fun to actually be on the train for that. I think that's the answer for this. And same thing goes in here. And quite frankly, same thing goes in here. Nice and thick. And I think we're a little bit rogue on that one. Rogue. And I think we can finish it off with a very weak one in there. And yeah, I think this one was wrong. So let's get rid of these. Pull this back a bit. What we need is a farmhouse. I think a farmhouse would look good around here. So we have a couple of assets for that. I think I'm just going to use the easiest one. We've got this Ingo farmhouse, complete farmhouse. And let's dump it You know what? Let's dump it somewhere central, probably right here. And so which way is the front? That way is the front, so that way. And we'll put that right on that corner. That was a bit rotated. Let's try that again. And let's get the rotation correct. And then we'll just put a whole lot of dirt down, I think. Yeah, particularly there. And fade the edges out. And looks like there was a little bit of undulation caused by the back of that, so that's easily fixed. And there we go. And then I think, yeah, there's a is it a willow or something in there? This one has in it, yeah, weeping willow. There it is. Let's put a whole lot of them around here from an aesthetic point of view, like a deliberate horticultural change. And then let's delete some stuff over there, and we'll do that again, and then at the end. Done. So it's like a little parade of stuff that is very deliberate. Yeah, probably could do with a couple of fences and stuff, but not too bad for now. And then I think it would make sense to do that. Cool. So yeah, this is a main road, so this is like public road. So yeah, you kind of want the idea of security. All right, so that's this area kind of done. We've got a bit of explanation of who owns the farm. We could definitely put down some sheds and stuff. I don't know how many assets I've got in that realm. I think there's some shed stuff. You know what? What we do have is a castle ruin. Is there an obvious place to put a castle? So, you know what? Maybe. Yeah, I just installed this. In the end, what I did is I went and got every single last mod from Ingo, just installed them all. This is actually on the property, isn't it? Yeah, so we can't level this out, but maybe we can, out here, we can flatten it off. So let's bring out a nice flat base there, and we can go, hey, this is kind of like a celebration of the castle out here on the peninsula. And yeah, I like that. So which way's the front? So yeah, the portcullis is on that side. So I think something like that. Yeah, and then we do have a couple of extra ruins, don't we? Like, yeah, house ruins. So we can make this a little bit bigger. And tower ruin. That's a round one. Square. Another gate. I'm tempted to do something like... Oh, that's kind of more on the inside, isn't it? Maybe more like this. And... yeah, we can play with this a little bit. I think we can probably go like this, like there's a reason to come out this way. I'm kind of just playing with this now. This is definitely the type of thing where you may spend a lot of time on it. Castle Gate, where was the corner? Yeah, this thing. Let's see if I can get that matching. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then... yeah, I think that's kind of gonna do for now. So let's put some rubble in there. And a bit there. Definitely something you can just play with a bit. And yeah, I think that'll do. Actually, look, cannonball stuff. Okay, that's something interesting. Do we have a plate? Yeah, I could spend a lot of time on this. Iron gate half, roof beams, center wall, brick, base plate. There we go. Base plate, corner, pillar. Come on, you got something big here? I'm looking for something like a plate. Plate. Yeah, anyway, I could definitely spend a lot of time playing with this. I'm not seeing anything, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, but we can put some cannonballs and stuff out there. But that's something we can do. What I am going to do, though, is definitely give it some greenery. And the way we're going to do that is probably through a fence. Yeah, through a fence. And then let's have a deliberate line of these. Does that really work? I don't know if it does, but we'll kind of like cordon it off and just make it look like, you know, people are taking care of it. Yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll just give it a quick road in, 10-meter road. And then definitely across the front here. And yeah, we can continue that a little bit further, and then we'll join it over here. It's like a little path, and because it's a path, I'm trying to make that level with the thing, we'll definitely give it some sort of greenery. And the easiest way to do that is the next big thing I like to do is just this big line. And what you do is you just put down, let's put down some pretty big shrubs, and we'll do that. We'll bring the strength up a bit, and we'll make a deliberate little line of stuff. You know what? I think that I actually like that over these hedges. I don't think these hedges work too well, so let me get rid of those. And we'll put in those shrubs. Yeah, that works. And we'll bring this down a bit and build this up a fair bit on this side. Come on, strength, more strength. And there we go. Cool. So there you have it. A little ruin out there on the corner of the bay, looking out. Something just a little bit more interesting to look at. And you know what? These shrubs did a pretty good job. I am tempted to find out what would it be like to do this. Yeah, especially along here where it's very industrial. I like the idea of kind of cutting this off. So let's get rid of this part. And you know what? I think I might get rid of a little bit more. I think I might get rid of all of this. And we'll go back to this line. Yeah, just play with it. Just enjoy making mistakes and building it up over and over again. The good thing about this mode right now where I've got the stick is if I'm over the top of what I've already done, it's not like you're building up too many more bushes, so you can a little bit easier, you know, wipe stuff and redo it. But there we go. So now we have a little avenue, and we can probably continue doing that around here as well. Now, don't forget, it won't draw on roads, so that's fine. Yeah, let's yeah, okay, let's keep on doing that quickly, and we'll make space for the hedge, and done. All right. I think that's done for that area for now. There's still lots more little tweaking we can do. We definitely need to do some painting. One of the obvious things is this ballast. You just need to clean up the tracks, make it a bit more rustic. That's one of the 15-30 second things that, you know, you just do that and within seconds it looks a lot better. What we do need to do is fade these two worlds together. So yeah, that's a good example. What we can do is see the fence. That's another good one that we can work on very quickly. Fence. Which fence is that going to be? So this is going to be this one. Is it that one? So it's got. Nope, it's not that one. Is it this one? Nope. Nope. Is it on this one? No, these are all the damaged ones. Nope. There it is, that one. Yeah, so everything you see as an asset is going to be available in the game somehow. So just search it out and you'll be fine. Helps if I start that correctly. And then, you know what? I actually am kind of okay with that. We're going to come over here. And we'll go here. And let's very quickly just box out this rail. And so just from a safety point of view, and I think we can do the same thing on this side. People shouldn't be in that space, so cordon it off. And we probably can do the same thing over here. And then let's do a curve around here. And a line to there. And before we know it, completely different vibe just by putting a couple of fences in. And yeah, I don't know what we can do this side. Something. But we'll work it out. I don't know if a wall, like a really tall wall, would make sense. It does. So that's something we can do on that side. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's not a bad change. All right, let's work on the rail. Currently, there needs to be something between these two. And I think the obvious thing is probably a row of plants. So I don't think stone is going to be the correct answer. Or is it? Maybe actually. That actually may look half decent because it's nice and crisp. Do we want the 200% one? Make it really tall. 200% is huge. It's like, you know, way higher than a car. Yeah. Let's try that. We're going to do train height on. And all right, let's do this and see how it goes. I'm holding down C a lot to turn off snapping. I'm never sure what the difference is between curve and arc. I'm pretty sure it's the way that it corrects for a difference. So like with a curve, I think it's always going to swing left to go right. There is a caution on the screen, which is interesting. Let me find out what that is. Why are you... Could not connect all stations. So... it's got to be something to do with this. So... Oh, you know why? Did we... No, we put the... So... Manage the line. You can come in. And why can't you go around the loop? Why aren't you happy with that? So after a lot of futzing, trying to work out what was wrong with here, nothing to do with this. Look at this. Over there. Somehow this got destroyed. I have no idea how. Absolutely no idea how. And away you go. So yeah, it had nothing to do with that multi-track stuff. It was perfectly fine in the first place. But we'll just leave it run that way anyway. They can have a dedicated track each, and that is fine. Let's put that waypoint back so it just looks cool. Doesn't actually do anything. And awesome. So yeah, one comes in on the left, the green one. Red one comes in. They share the line around there, and everything is great. Let's have a look at the guy going through our new little pass. Turn the full screen on. Yeah, it's a little bit tight, but it's okay for a oil line. Very cool. Done. So yeah, we'll just do a little bit more detailing, I think, because I think this is about the limit of what we want to do for an episode. It's going to smooth out some of this stuff. I don't know why, but just putting dirt underneath fences seems to look like the right thing to do. Like we'll have a little track in here. Just have, you know, just some type of law about something. For some reason, they go through there. And yeah, let's put another piece of fence across here because I think that would make sense. Do we want it stone wall? Yeah, let's do stone wall. Actually, this is the 300% stuff. So let's just go here. And do we want to... You know what? Yeah, let's do this. Let's have fun and we'll go up to the homestead. And make a nice formal looking entrance. That looks cool actually. I like that. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, up and over, and yeah, we can finish it off right here. We'll put the little square one there. And then from here and go over to here. Kind of gives us a separation to the railway, which kind of works. There, and we will finish it off like that. Yeah, nice little touch. I think that works. I think we'll just put one right there. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Nice and simple. Yeah. There's a couple of small things like how do people walk over here. So you probably should have a gap, much like there's a gap here. We probably should have a gap there. And do that so people can walk in. Yeah, just think about how people would interact with it. It's not clear how the oil goes from here to here. I'm assuming it gets pumped across. Like there's no reason to have some type of truck or anything. And yeah, on this side, I think the answer is picket fences maybe. And so let me do that for 5 seconds off camera and we'll see what it looks like. And this is the final result after another 15 minutes of just putting in fences, put in a whole lot of white ones out here, the picket fences, and these stone ones all around, all around the orchard. So wherever there's a public road, it got a stone fence. And then once you're into the private area, it's just, dirt roads and fade off. Decided to get rid of the orchard on this side, mainly because there was no access way into it. And so just filled it up with these random trees. I think that looks pretty good. And put a little path in for our signal box. The plan originally was to walk along the tracks, but I thought, no, it's not really safe. We should come out this way. I don't know if I can configure this to have its staircases this way. Yeah, straight. I think the side look. Yeah, that one looks better. Yeah, I think that one actually might look better. And then we can get rid of that and a bit of very tiny smoothing. That's fine. I think that's fine. And there we have it. So not bad progress. And we'll definitely call this the end of the episode. I like the loop. We worked out why it wasn't working. You can see that now goes around quite happily. We've got the green one, or the red one and the green one both sharing that. And it's much cleaner, I think, and I think they're a bit more practical, especially the scale of these trains. I can't see them doing U-turns too much. Like the fence, I like all the dirt. Yeah, I think we've been able to merge what we fabricated into what the production was quite well. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Don't forget to subscribe to see more of this detailing action on the Great Western Railway, particularly next time. We will leave this area and continue down the rail because once we go around this way, well, A, we haven't done the stone wall, and B, this whole area is just completely wrong. It's got town growth onto fields, and this whole station needs to be given some love. And yeah, I think also down the rail, I think we've also got a little bit of work to do. We've got to get this wheat off the track, and yeah, and also finish over here as well. As this guy pulls out of our new station around the loop, we'll definitely call that the end. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time in the Great Western Railway. Bye, everybody.